Alright YouTube, for this vlog, as I mentioned in one of my previous art vlogs, I was exploring the internet of alternative movies of Batman 3 for the Tim Burton universe, which stars Michael Keaton as Batman, who I'm not the biggest fan of as Batman, but I do like Batman Returns a lot, and it's kind of a Christmassy movie, or at least it happens at Christmas time, so I saw it's coming to my local theater soon, so I'll be sure to watch it and give you guys a review. But you guys know the main villain of Batman Returns is the Penguin, who, you know, the movie's been out since the 90s, so I'll give a spoiler warning, but if you don't want to see spoilers, click off. So I'll say that his character dies, and in a weird way where the penguins, sort of literal penguins, like, you know, carry his dead body into the ocean, which is very symbolic and kind of creepy, but interesting to say the least. So here's the Penguin. As you guys know, in Batman Forever, which I do enjoy, it's a cool 90s movie. I think Joel Schumacher had a cool vision for Gotham City, although Batman and Robin is Batman and Robin, so, you know, it's definitely a movie to say the least. But Batman Forever is quite fun, and I really enjoyed it as a kid, and this drawing of Riddler is based on Jim Carrey's Riddler somewhat, but also I fused it a little bit with the Burton-verse Riddler, who probably would have had his hair shaped in a question mark, because, you know, that was the vibe back then for the Riddler, sorta. And here we have Two-Face, not the Two-Face from Tim Burton's Batman, but rather a Two-Face based on Andrew Garfield, because as you guys know, in the Batman '89, Billy D. Williams, who plays Lando in Star Wars, was Two-Face, or Harvey Dent rather, before he became Two-Face, so I would have loved to see Burton's vision for Two-Face, because I think that's a character that definitely kind of gives me that really dark vibe, which these movies seem to have, unlike Batman Forever. Not that I don't like Batman Forever, but sort of would have been cool to see such, you know, contradicting sort of vibes fused together, because it either could have been a mess or it could have been fascinating. Of course, I heard another villain that was supposedly going to return in these movies was Scarecrow, who we haven't gotten a lot of live-action Scarecrows. We got the Batman Begins one, and I think that's just about it, unless you count Gotham, which I don't. But this other look at Scarecrow, I kind of based it off, you know, a classical sort of Scarecrow in the literal sense, and of course I gave him the scythe to sort of give him that killer slasher villain vibe. And this is not how I would imagine Batman would look in these movies, but I gave this cool winter-like Batman. I just love these colors together, and I love the little candy cane I gave him. So I would have been curious to see where Keaton's arc went in this movie, because I know he is sort of in a Batman movie that's The Flash, but I heard it was terrible and never even bothered watching it, and probably won't bother watching it. But I don't know, I'm curious to see what his history could have been like as Batman, because I guess it was retcon, but overall, you know, some things are cool to leave to the imagination, and I think one of those things would have been Robin Williams as the Riddler. I think that could have been fascinating, because, of course, I know him, it's a tragedy the way he died, and, you know, he had a great voice, especially as Genie in Aladdin, and, you know, his character in the original Jumanji was super cool as well, so I would have loved to see his take on the Riddler, because it could have been very interesting. I imagine it might be somewhat similar to Jim Carrey's Riddler, who was definitely cool, but I've heard Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face was terrible. I don't really remember how his performance was like, because when I saw this movie I was like 10 or 11 and haven't watched it much even as a teenager, even when I was a teenager, so I really don't know. But I would have thought Billy D. Williams could be a cool Two-Face, especially for his performance as Lando in The Empire Strikes Back, as he sort of portrayed a character who's sort of known to betray his best friend, so that could have been somewhat crossed over in this universe. But I talk about Star Wars too much, so let me find another Batman drawing I did. So the Batman drawing I did is of Catwoman, but in The Batman for Batman 2, or for Catwoman series. I believe Catwoman died at Batman Returns. I'm not sure if it was 100% confirmed. I don't know if we saw her corpse, but I don't know if she was alive and came back from the dead. That could have been interesting to see, and probably have a different arc and work with Bruce Wayne, but, you know, or Batman and Bruce Wayne, so it would have been interesting to see. But I also imagine she's probably dead in the universe, so we probably would have gotten a new love interest or no love interest for Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne, but he was definitely going to get a Robin, I believe, and I think it could have made more sense to call Batman Forever Batman and Robin, because Robin's in that universe, and although I like Batman Forever and I love the vision of Gotham in that universe, that version of Robin was pretty bad, although his suit is cool, so I'm sure Burton's Robin would have been better than that version. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned more soon. Let me show off some more drawings before we go. Another version of Batman. This one looks more like Michael Keaton's Batman, and I love his suit in Batman Returns, and this is Batman Beyond in sort of Batman Beyond style, honestly, not in Tim Burton version style. But yeah, overall I love Batman. Would have loved to see how this movie could have gone, and if not, oh well, but fun to leave things to the imagination, which is the primary lesson of today's vlog. So thank you guys for watching. Steve Morshun. Goodbye.